Welcome to Whips in the Dungeon. This is Dex, and we're doing a follow-up video on, or actually a series of follow-up videos on whips that I've purchased over the past year and a half. And I had a question the other day about a set of whips, and they asked me how they were breaking in, and I decided, well, that's actually a good question to ask about all of the whips that I've purchased, done unboxings for, done the initial review. You know, the initial review is just right after I pull it out of the box. How is that whip performing 6 months to a year later? And did it break in? Is it a whip that matches my throwing style? So we're gonna do some of those follow-up videos. So the whips I have today are a match set of 20 Plait signal whips from Desert Minx at Mojave Outliers. I'll come up close so you can see the handle pattern. Gorgeous, gorgeous work. There's a black Turk's head, a red Turk's head. The whips are done in red and white kangaroo. And they're identical twins, but one's a male and one's a female. I use that analogy because this one, the predominant color is white, accented in red, and the sister whip is accented predominantly in red and accented in white, but it's the same pattern. So it's kind of like identical twins, but one's a male and one's a female. I joke that the black one lets me know which one goes in the right hand, which one goes in the left. But the reality is I've been throwing these every morning as part of my morning routine and working on my two-hand work, okay? And I do some of everything with them. We come off the shoulder with a thumb push. I work on my timing, together timing, and with together timing, my goal would be to put one whip on the right shoulder and the other whip on the left shoulder, but doing it together or throwing and having them both hit the butt. Okay, staggered timing would just be like a 1-2. And you can alternate that where the left whip is the leading whip, okay? And then distributed timing would be when one's going forward, the other one's going back. So we start with one forward, then we recover it. And I'm still working on my distributed timing technique. I am getting better, but that's why I practice every morning. Okay, and then horizontal just over under, working on keeping those even and on an even horizontal plane. So how are these whips behaving? They're slowly breaking in. They're not where I want them yet. I want them to have a nice rollout all the way to the finish with the cracker. And they're getting there. They just need more work, but I'm really enjoying them. I have no intention of selling these. These are going with me for the rest of my journey. And I thank Thea very much for taking the time and working with me on these. It's actually the second build she did for me because I wanted the handle a little bit stiffer, and she put an extra 6 inches of binding coming out of the Turk's head. I think probably in the last, the binding over the bolster before the overlay was done. She did an extra heavy binding for the first 6 inches. So about where the handle pattern ends is about where that extra binding ends, and then the rest of the thong is agile. So these are nice. I have no intention of getting rid of them. When I do my two-handed work, the feedback from Moodstone is very positive on these whips. So these whips actually are going to be thrown in every two-hand session I throw, as always. But that's my update. So as always, thanks for watching Whips in the Dungeon.